And we'll go over the opener here in just a minute. If you had not turned it on, I think I've gotten most of the ones that were the balancing one way back from Wednesday already, going through and checking them online. There was one from Friday that I don't think most of you picked up and that I need to pull back out. So we go to this class. Do what? I'll have to see how far. Yes, it's try A-ball. No, this one's closed. I think A-ball is open. If you did not pick up the one from Friday, I'm going to set these back out. A lot of you just did not hear me because I went back over what you guys were supposed to have done Thursday when I was in the library all day. But a lot of my students did not. So I went back over that just to make sure that you, if you had questions with the combustion, yes, that one's what I'm looking for. Then I could answer them with that.
I have one question from like the other one. It's like on the very last question.
On number 10?
Yeah. Not from Friday, but
The one that was from Wednesday that, let me see, what's your question? So on the right side, this is on the left side, left, 1, 3, 1. Making sure that you're there. Wait, that one or this one? This one. Okay, so phosphorus and occupancy. Okay, so don't start with oxygen if it's not a combustion, as long as you don't add them. So actually fix these first. So they're. No, two is not on, 2 is even, oxygen's on, it's 5. So the first number that they both divide into evenly is what? You've got to make them the same number. One is a 2, one is a 5. It's the smallest number. They both divide into evenly.
2.
10.
I said 2.
So, who said 2 and somebody said 1?
So 10.
Oh,
I
I
said
heard
10.
2. So the first value that they both can be, that they both divide into, the smallest value, that first value is 10. So you need to make them each equal to 10 on both sides. By multiplying.
so it would be 5 times 5.
No, 5 times 5 is 25.
5 times 2 and now.
And then the 2 would go here, which is going to change to phosphorus. That's why, and I mean, we are going to be balancing equations for basically forever. Let me get this going. I don't know, my heater keeps turning off. So. Okay, I should have handed this one to her too, and I didn't do it. I'm going to walk through this opener with you, and then there is a FET lab that you have a link to get to it through Canvas. Thank you. Come on, my computer is very slow. It's just not wanting to load right now. I don't know if it's the, are y'all's Chromebooks? There we go. So. This is an easier one, and I'm actually going to do it on the dry erase board, but I'm going to talk through it for those that are remote. I have 3 different elements that are being rearranged between the reactant side, which is the left of the arrow, and the product side, which is the right of the arrow. I've got copper, I've got iodine, and I've got fluorine. They're in different orders on either side of this arrow. When we balance these, and yes, most of you are going to be doing the math underneath it. This is the way every chemistry teacher I've ever seen has taught how to balance. Some of you will get better at this, and you won't have to do all this math for easier ones like this that are on the board. But if I list them the order I see them, you see copper first, so I'm going to do Cu, and then I'm going to do iodine next, and fluorine last. Please, if you have not heard me say this the other 20-something times I have, keep them in the same order that you wrote them. I don't care if they're not in the same order if not. We're going to rewrite copper, iodine, and fluorine. Then you go back and you take a look at how many you have. You don't have to do addition unless it's in 2 different areas on the same side of the equation. This is not one of those. This is a very, very straightforward single replacement reaction. Where I've got 1 copper on the left, 1 iodine on the left, and 2 fluorines on the left. On the right, I have 1 copper, I have 2 iodines, and I have 1 fluorine. So the way that I have it written, copper's not the problem. Do you want to do iodine or fluorine first? It does not matter with this formula. You want to do iodine. How do you make these the same smallest whole number value? Multiply the one on the left by 2. Now it is this multiplication number that goes up. And where this has to go is the compounds that iodine is in. And that's what people don't do right. They forget to distribute. So that copper is also multiplied by 2. They're both multiplied by 2. So right, so I changed the coefficient. I have to start over. And I think that was Jimmy that said that. Now my copper's not right. So I'm going to multiply it by 2 on the product side or the right-hand side, which is going to do what? The fluorine. It's this one. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be fixed? No, except I am missing the number in front of the fluorine gas and the iodine gas. Oh, well, iodine's not a gas, it's a solid. What are these two numbers going to be? No, you need to write ones. Now, I don't know if it was this chemistry class or if it was my 8th period, but I went back grading this paper, this one that Tiffany just turned in. Now, if you did not tell me the number 1 in the order for the coefficients, you didn't tell me the right thing. So just for example, if somebody was putting this one, especially digitally, into like picking an answer choice or telling you what the coefficients are, don't tell me it's 2 and 2. The order on this one is 2, 1, 1, 2, and it should have commas in between them. Otherwise, you're writing 2,112. Some of these coefficients are in the 10s, the 20s, the 30s. I've seen some combustions in the 50s. So make sure you're putting a parenthesis in between each compound's coefficient, or element's coefficient, in the case if it's an element. Okay, so what we are doing today, I need to change. Okay, before I let you guys start doing this FET lab, are there other specific questions about the paper that was from last week? Are you turning yours in? You may have 2 things to turn in if you guys have the more balancing ones. Sure, the way my screen's being presented. This is I've learned that you guys just need me to sort of help walk you through these things sometimes, which is okay. But in Canvas, share my screen. Come on, computer, you can do it. All right, if I go, you guys can follow the link for this virtual lab, because I don't have a paper version to be able to do this. And the paper copy that I did have actually had, instead of just identifying reaction types, which if you follow this link and you make a copy, down on here, which this is how you're actually going to answer. Let me F11 my screen. This is how you're going to answer as you follow along with the lab. If you hover, it's not wanting me to do it. If you click on the link here, you hover over it, it'll take you to this FET lab. And you can follow along with it. I don't even have it open, so let me open it. You're actually answering with the Google slide. It follows along with it. It wants you to actually go ahead and do the introduction, which is this first part. Once you're done with the introduction, which are all of these, then you're actually going through and there's like a game that you play and there's 5 different balancings for each section. Level 1 is much easier than level 3. If you need to use paper, I'll get some paper out for you. If you need to use paper to balance it, there's not a problem with that. There's not like a written out paper version with this particular FET lab. So if you click on the intro, you are literally going to be balancing by, and like I said, if you want paper, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the light on. If you want regular paper, I know some of you need to actually balance them out. But as you're changing the numbers on this, they should at least have a 1. Like if I put a nitrogen, and if I put up, well, I know that that's not, let's see. I have a feeling most of you are going to end up wanting to use paper. But let's say I do this. which I know isn't right, but let's say I do that. When I click to be able to go through, it'll let me know if I am right or wrong. You actually need to, and no, that is not the correct answer for this. You need to go through and tell me the coefficients that belong in here. You can drag and drop from over here if you want to. And you actually, this is actually the compound part right here, but it does follow along. This is also introduction. The way that you switch is the separation of water, that's this button down here on the bottom, the combustion of methane, but it'll let you know if you've gotten it right or not. Once you have that part done, you need to switch over to the game. I couldn't see it. You switch it over to the game. And like I said, level 1 is much easier than level 2, and level 2 is easier than level 3. When you click on these, it's the same exact general thing, and then you check it to see if you're right or not. There is a place for you to record your score, how many that you've gotten right. It wants you to take a screenshot and post it in here. And if you do not know how to take a screenshot, for you guys, it's control and then the multi-screen button, which I can't remember what it is. I think it's like above the number 8, something like that with you guys. Once you are done with this part, and you have to have all 5 stars to be able to go on to level 2, and you have to have at least 4 in level 2 to go on to level 3. And before you can actually go on to the last part, you need to have at least 3 of them were done correctly on that harder section. Y'all, there are a couple on there that are difficult. I'm not going to lie. You may want to use a piece of paper to balance them. I can't see you guys doing it in your head. If I actually had to go back a couple times and went, oh, wait a minute, I didn't do that right. Once you're done with that part, the easier part's the FET. You're going to follow this link. This is actually the easier part. You're doing identification types. Go back and start myself back over. So now here's the one thing that's different. Even though I have mentioned this word before, they use the word synthesis for combination. Synthesis, addition, and combination all mean the same thing. It means that you're using multiple starting parts and you're making one end product. That's the only thing that I noticed that might confuse you. You have to have at least, I want to say it's a 70%, and you need to screenshot that puppy and put it on there too. And it wants you to put that on this side. And then just make sure that you upload it into Canvas. Let me make sure that I did create a file upload and not a text box for you. Yes, I did. All right, now what I want to do, and I'm going to stop the actual recording. I don't need to talk anymore about this, but I know that some of you are still confused. Oh, I see somebody online. I see Alexis now. Those 10 problems from literally a week ago, I am not taking them after today. So let me stop this.